Welcome to the New Hope State of the City Address. I'm Dave Kaiser from CCX Media, honored to be part of this address with some very special guests from the city. The mayor is with us, Kathy Hempkin. Welcome, Mayor.
Hi, Dave.
And Reese Berthoff is with us, the city manager. Welcome to you as well.
Thank you, Dave.
We have a different look this year. It often has been done in the council chambers in the past, but this year we're bringing it to the TV studio and hoping you enjoy a look at the last year in the city of New Hope and also a look ahead. We begin, Mayor, with just the overview. Tell us in a couple sentences, what is the state of the city in the city of New Hope?
One word, it's fabulous. So New Hope is a very vibrant and diverse community. We have a lot of active residents here. We have good, strong leadership. We have a city management and a staff that's very committed to the community. New Hope is always looking toward the future, but we also want to preserve the past, and that's what made New Hope a great place to live, work, and play.
There are many departments that make things work in the city of New Hope, and we're going to take you through some of them and take, again, a look back and a look ahead at what is coming up. Reese, let's begin with the numbers. We got a chance to look at financial work in the city of New Hope and also redevelopment and community development. Give us a little overview first of the financial state.
Yeah, thank you, Dave. Well, as most people know, I am new to New Hope, and I'll tell you the one thing that I have found is this is a financially strong city. They've done a very good job over the years in planning for the future and making sure that they apply the financial resources for the betterment of the community. That is underpinned by a Standard & Poor's rating of Big A2, so 2 big A's. And for those that know, that's a pretty big deal for a local community to have that. Last June was unique for the city budget due to the federal funding received in 2021 and 2022. So if you take a look at the numbers, we received an influx of dollars from the federal government that were applied to projects in the city. The total general fund expenses did go over budget by about $154,000. That really was due to the fact that the city is working very diligently to deal with the emerald ash borer infestation. However, we were able to offset those expenditures by transfers internal to the funds out of Park and Recreation and street infrastructure, which the money is there and saved up for things such as this. You know, in reality, the city's budget for the year 2024 was approved in December. We're bringing that in with a 5.36% increase in the levy, which if you look across the metro was a very good position for the city of New Hope to be in. I'm optimistic that given those resources, we're going to have another great financial year in the city of New Hope.
And there's a lot of information on the city's website about the budget and finances, so newhopemn.gov. We'll mention that many times during the update here to keep you informed and keep a look at what's happening in the city throughout the year. All right, let's go to redevelopment and community development. Always a lot happening in the city of New Hope. In fact, as we're recording this, they were out at a ribbon cutting earlier today. Take us through the last year and what was done in the city.
It's been a wonderful year in redevelopment in the city of New Hope, and honestly, the city's businesses really underpin the success of the city. Not only do they contribute to our economy, but they help us have a vibrant, livable city for people to enjoy. In 2023, several new businesses were welcomed while others relocated or expanded. Some of the recent highlights include the opening of El Loro, Nautical Bowls, Robin Wellness Center, Egress Window Guy, and Weld & Sons Plumbing. And as you mentioned this morning, we welcome Marathon Gas Station at Bass Lake Road in Winnetka. A wonderful family excited to be in New Hope.
Plenty of places to shop within the city. Now let's talk about another part of redevelopment, and that's the housing. And scattered site housing is something the mayor likes to talk about. Tell us a little bit again of what that is and why that's so important to the city and what's been done.
Well, this program has been around for quite a while. What we do is we look for distressed houses and buy them, tear them down, and redevelop the lot. So what we do is we'll sell that lot then to a builder, and they come in and they put a nice house up there. So we've been doing this in many, many houses in New Hope just recently. So if you want to look at what the ones we have done, we bought Treehouse. That was the one on Bassett, no, on
42nd.
Winnetka and 42nd. And they moved to Plymouth, Treehouse did. So then what we did is we tore that house down, divided the lot, so they're putting up 2 houses. One is finished, that's the south house, and I heard they just had a sale pending on that one, and they've dug the hole for the second one. So that one's moving right along. There was a house that was on 53rd in Rhode Island that just sold recently for $550,000. So these distressed houses that are coming down are being replaced by really upscale houses. We got a couple on Winnetka that we took the house, tore it down. We didn't take it, by the way, we bought it. Tore the house down, and again we split the lot, and there are going to be 2 houses there. We haven't sold those lots yet. We're just getting the lot split ready to sell that. We bought a house on right off of Bass Lake Road in Boone. That one was really distressed, tore that down. Got that cleared off. We're now going to put that on the market to a builder to come in. I want to remind people that we have a lot of low-income housing in New Hope. So even though we're tearing down these quote affordable houses, they're really in distress. And the houses that are going up are really houses for people to move up into. So a lot of the people that are buying these houses are New Hope residents, so we're really happy about that.
They just love to stay in town. Reese, a couple other items in redevelopment, community development, building permits and inspections. This is a good barometer of activity. Tell us about those numbers.
Very, very busy year in 2023 in the city of New Hope. 2,914 building permits were issued, and what that really represents is almost a $34 million valuation of projects that were completed last year in New Hope. And I also want to mention that my staff, in conjunction with community development and the scattered site housing projects, do monitor our market conditions in New Hope regularly. Just in the last few weeks, we have started to see real estate start to move again, and we're seeing multiple offers come in very quickly on properties that are hitting the market. So we're optimistic that for 2024, things are going to be continuing to move in the right direction for New Hope.
So there's your first look at the state of the city and the city of New Hope financial and redevelopment and community development items. Let's now step ahead to street and infrastructure improvement. What happens on the ground and under the ground? Let's talk a little bit about some of those projects. First, infrastructure improvement. First, Reese, what is that for those that might not know, and what's gone on?
So every summer the city undertakes what they call an infrastructure improvement project. Usually it's a conglomeration of street paving, sidewalk work, or improvements in our parks or other public infrastructure. You recall when we were talking about the budget that we have an all-in budget process, but the thing that I like to talk about around infrastructure improvement is while you might have a perception of high taxes in New Hope, the reality of the situation is that New Hope does not levy special assessments when they do infrastructure improvement projects. So all the funds are being saved annually in order to expend them when an infrastructure improvement project is ready to go. In 2023, we did street projects, sidewalks, and water mains in the Sonneson Elementary School neighborhood, and water main replacement was also done in some sections of the same area. We also did work on 42nd Avenue. A lot of people have noticed that because it was rather disruptive, but we timed it in conjunction with the 42nd Avenue Bridge project with Minnesota DOT. All that's coming together, but I will remind residents that we will be back out there this spring finalizing some pavement and curb work on that project. And with that, I'll have the mayor talk about Highway 169 and the 42nd Avenue Bridge and noise walls.
You know, I tell people that once they get into New Hope, they can't get out. Because for a while, you could not get over 169. Sure. So that 42nd Avenue Bridge is in. What they did is they took a full cloverleaf and turned it into a folded diamond. I have no idea what that means, other than the fact that the traffic moves much better now.
It works.
And it's different. So that is just about done. They say it's done, but nothing's ever really done. So the next project is 36th Avenue, that bridge over 169. They're going to start that when school gets out in June, and they're telling me they'll be done by the end of 2024. And I heard through the grapevine they're going to take out the bridge over 169 at 63rd. No details on that one yet, but really, if you want to get out of New Hope, I don't think you can.
It can be a little bit tough. And up in that area on 169 by 63rd, noise wall work. Again, remind us why that was important for neighborhoods in New Hope.
Well, the noise wall is always good because 169 is really noisy, and if you happen to back up right to that. However, what happened was they started to build the noise wall, and they came to a non-used water main and decided that maybe they'd go over it, then they were going to go around it, then they were going to go through it. I don't think they made the decision, and here comes the snow. This is October. So all work quit at that time, and they left the equipment there. So you cannot get onto 169 off of Bass Lake Road. So when I say you can't get out, you really can't get out. So you can't get on. They're telling me that that's going to be completed in the spring, but spring starts the 19th of March. We'll see.
The key word is thank you for your patience, residents of the City of New Hope, and keep that patience going. Reese, let's talk about Public Works facility expansion. It has been underway for a while, and we're at phase 2. What's going on there?
We are. Our Public Works Department is excited to undertake a 20,000 square foot expansion of covered and conditioned space for their equipment and their people to do their work. We'll also be doing some work on the grounds that were contemplated in phase 1 but needed to be pushed to phase 2. We're looking forward to the implementation of a electric vehicle charging stations in this project. We're realigning the access to Public Works, and we also think that we have room in the project to add a brine system, which will lessen the amount of salt that our plow trucks have to put on our roadways in order to keep them dry and clear.
Speaking of plow trucks, let's talk for a second about an opportunity to have some fun with a plow truck. We're trying to name one. Is that correct, Mayor?
We're trying to name 2.
All right.
We actually got 2 new plow trucks. The other ones just kind of wore out. Believe it or not, it does snow in New Hope once in a while.
Yes.
So we're having a contest to name the snowplow. You'll get more details later, but what we want people to do is start thinking of names. We don't want MnDOT to have all the fun naming their snowplows. We can name ours too. So the 2 are here. They're ready to use. I hope they don't have to use them anymore this year, but they probably will. So when that contest rules come out, we'll make that public. And then what they'll do is they'll take all the votes, or they'll open it up to the public for names, and then they'll let the public vote on them, and the one who gets the most votes will be the name of the snowplows.
All right. What City's website, great place to go to find out more about that contest and much more within streets and infrastructure improvements, newhopemn.gov.
And I think, Dave, there's a male and a female snowplow.
Oh, very good. All right.
Just saying.
Important thing to know. Let's now move ahead to a very busy part of the city and one that's got a lot of activity. It's parks and recreation facilities and operations. Mayor, first let's talk a little bit about, in general, this great department and what they mean to the city.
We have 18 parks in the city. We have over 200 acres of public land that we maintain. And of these 18 parks, nobody is with more than a quarter of a mile away from a park. Every other year we redo one of our parks, put in new equipment, some things change. We're adding things to the parks, always keeping them up. The real deal with the parks now is we're losing all these ash trees. And so we're trying to put in trees to get some shade back in those parks.
Lighted Field is one of those big parks in the city, gets lots of activity, lots of teams playing there on a regular basis, and some improvements happened there recently. What's been going on?
They did, and I want to share that. When I first came to New Hope, that was, to me, it was one of the jewels of the city. Yeah. Having a place where both baseball and softball can meet and gather and play their sports, it felt like a throwback to something that really means something to me as a Minnesota kid growing up and playing baseball. The lighted baseball field, which you mentioned, is located on 49th Avenue, did go through a big makeover last year. We did batting cage improvements, resodding of the infield and outfield, worked on the fence a little bit of work around the dugouts, and we did some retrofitting for LED lighting and upgrading the trails that run around lighted field. I want to really send out a big thank you to the Minnesota Twins Community Foundation. They provided us a $10,000 grant, which was applied towards that project.
Always very helpful. All right, let's hop around to a few parks and talk about some things that you'll see as you head out this spring and summer. Liberty Park, the playground is looking fantastic.
It's wonderful, isn't it? And one of our 18 parks, Liberty Park, is well used. It has a beautiful playground, but would you know that it was actually last replaced in the year 2000? To some of us, might not seem too long ago, but in reality it was almost a quarter of a century. It's been updated and is brand new and is ready to go. Liberty Park gets well used, and we're excited for the neighborhood to enjoy the new equipment.
A lot of people like to get out and play on the courts in the city of New Hope at those many parks that the mayor mentioned. What's happening on the courts, and how are you keeping tennis, pickleball, basketball rolling?
I don't know. Does anybody in New Hope like to play pickleball?
I think so.
Well, before we get to that, there were 2 sports courts in New Hope that got significant renovations in 2023. The first being the basketball court at Liberty Park. It was reconstructed and new hoops were installed to improve the playing experience. But also at Meadow Lake School, where there had been previously, for many, many years, provided by the city tennis courts, we heard the pickleball community and upgraded that court to 6 individual, correctly sized, fenced off, and appropriately netted pickleball courts. Did some lighting upgrades and redid the fence, and it looks wonderful.
Like people to get out there and have some fun. And speaking of the parks, one thing that's really neat is some new signage at the park. So you want to make sure it's attractive and people know which park they're at when they come.
Yeah, another great opportunity to thank a partner, the City of New Hope, Hennepin County. Because of some grant funds received from them, we have been able to update signage so that people are able to better utilize and find their way around our parks.
There are some great park and rec facilities, as you know, in the City of New Hope that not only New Hope residents use, but everyone through the metro and beyond use. And the first, Mayor, is the ice arena. Take us inside the New Hope Arena, that gem for the city, and just what goes on there.
It is a gem for the city. So last year we had 4,100 hours of ice time. 3,900 of that was paid at time. So this is home to the Youth Hockey Association. The high schools play all their games, they're girls and boys. They have skate lessons, they ice skating, school, they have sharpening of skates, you name it, it's always busy at that ice arena. And they rent the upstairs out to our dance program.
Yeah, a lot of activity beyond just skating going on in that arena, so stop by and take a look at it. Let's head to the aquatic park, Mayor, and it was a banner year for the aquatic park, wasn't it?
Oh my gosh, it was 55,000 swimmers came through. If you like water, that's the place to be. So it's really been a very, very successful pool for us. I heard kind of an interesting thing. They sold 8,400 ice cream novelties there last summer.
Okay.
So we hire a lot of kids, 87 teenagers and young adults. 78% of them came back again this year to work there. So it's a fun place to work. They added a couple new things. One of them was called Tot Time. So once a month on Saturday mornings you can bring your little one and play in the shallow water without all the big kids there. So they get a whole hour to themselves to play. They're going to try adult aerobics on Sunday evenings. We'll see how that goes. But there's all kinds of things going on. We rent the pool out to swim teams who come in and have their tournaments there. Great asset to the city.
It is a fantastic place. We'll be busy again this summer. All right, let's head to the golf course, a place that's always busy, and even this year more busy because it stayed warm through the end of the year. What's the latest on the golf course and what can people look forward to this year?
So today is March 1st and I'm playing golf this afternoon. The course is still brown, but the flags are in, the holes are in, and we have erasers on our pencils, so we can probably do better at golf. This was a really, really busy. We had 26,000 rounds of golf last year. This was the most profitable year we've had at the golf course. So if you want to play a nice par 3, 9-hole course, this is the place to go. We had 30 tournaments at the golf course. 866 league members were playing at that course. I think I was one of those 55,000 that were playing there. It's a beautiful course.
Yeah, great asset to the community. The other part, year-round, the clubhouse is open for special events, and there always seems to be someone there on the weekend, so a great asset. Another note is the Performance Center that is over by the Government Center now, the City Hall. What has happened there, and how has that turned out after the remodeling of that area?
So we've opened that up now to other things. So we have music concerts, we have plays, obviously, we have performances that are going on there. We even had a holiday event. So last year the Off-Broadway musical was there, and they changed the times and dates, so they were open 8 times last year. And this year they're doing a new play, and I'm here to announce that it's going to be Bye Bye Birdie.
Wonderful. All right. Get your tickets now or keep watching their website to find out more. Reese, you mentioned the Emerald Ash Borer earlier and the cost it was to the city, and that's something that the Park and Rec Department, along with other departments, keeps an eye on. What is the latest information, and what was the work that was done last year?
Yeah, the latest information is it is a readily identified issue within in the city of New Hope, we are going to lose all of our ash trees. Some have been treated and will delay the effect of the borer on the tree, but unfortunately the only remedy we have left is tree removal. In 2023 we did remove over 500 ash trees, but in good news, we did replace 200 new trees that will not be affected by the emerald ash borer, and it is a key component of my administration and the goals of my team to continue to reinvigorate the city forest. The mayor just got done talking about all of our wonderful park and rec assets that are really supported by a beautiful forest when people go out to enjoy our community. So it may take a few years, but we are diligently working on the replacement of those trees that will keep New Hope beautiful.
Final note from Park and Rec, we want to talk about something new coming to one of the parks in the city that's going to help keep us fit. What is that, Mayor?
Well, that's at Northwood Park, and they're putting in exercise equipment. So if you so choose, you can go and do some leg work, some lifting, just exercising outside, outdoors with that beautiful lake behind you in the background. Nice place to park. Come use our parks. There's even a zip line there if you get tired of exercising.
So as you see, a banner year for Parks and Recreation in the city of New Hope. They did some great work, and again, find out more about the activities available at newhopemn.gov. Now let's head into our look back at the state of the city for the city of New Hope in 2023 and moving into 2024. Public safety, and we begin with a look at the New Hope Police Department. And again, they have been busy, Mayor, out in the community, and engagement really is a key word.
They really want to engage with the community members, not just the older people, but the kids. And so they're doing something called Copsicles. They go to the parks, pass out popsicles, just a little pop-up thing that happens. They've also got a trailer now that was given to them by the Crime Prevention Board, and they go out and they cook hot dogs in the park for the kids, to give them Cokes and hot dogs. They want to do this because the first time you meet a police officer shouldn't be when it's in a crisis. It should be at a community event, so they're so good. I'm so proud of our police department. They're always there. We have a full contingency of cops, and we're really proud of that.
There are some neat acronyms that we run through in the public safety and police department area. One is the JCPP and the other is the MAC. Let's talk for a minute, Mayor, about those. Joint Community Police Partnership first. What is that and how does that benefit the city and residents?
Well, there are a group of residents. There's an adult and there's a student one. The adult one is just a group of residents, and they advise the police department on what they're seeing, what they think the city needs, and the police department's listening. The other one is really exciting. It's students from Cooper, and they meet with the police chief on a regular basis, and these kids are telling the police chief what they need in their school, what they need to keep everybody safe. And they were telling me that they know that the police always have their back, not so sure about the law.
Always opportunities to get involved in those groups as well within the city. Reese, let's talk a little bit about employee well-being, something that's very important in public safety. What can you tell us from last year and going forward in that area?
Our police chief, Tim Hoyt, has done an amazing job with his administration in focusing on his people, on making sure that the officers feel supported, that they know that they have the services available to them should they have to experience something that's tragic. And they do that through a Tri-City peer support group with Crystal, Robbinsdale, and New Hope working closely together to make sure that there's always somebody available to work with our officers surrounding their health and well-being. We also make investments in technology. We make sure that we are always providing the best and foremost training for our officers. We do that through a partnership with Maple Grove at a training center that they recently opened that's utilized by much of the Northwest Metro. Our officers do go up there and conduct training on almost a weekly basis. And we also will make sure that, as the mayor was mentioning, our community comes first with our police department, and they plug in with our joint community policing program and our multicultural advisory programs.
You talked a little bit earlier, Mayor, about the MAC and about some of the engagement opportunities. Looking for continued involvement and student involvement as well. Again, remind us what that is and what people can do if they want to get involved.
Well, you can always get involved by joining one of our commissions, and there are many of them. You can also get involved by just calling the police department and giving them some information that you see. We have to have the community out there telling us where to be, because those police officers can't be everywhere. So they're trying to get out in the community and do friendly stuff as much as they can. and they're pretty busy. So if you're in an apartment complex, all you have to do is call the police department, and they'll come out with their weenies and chips for you.
All right, they like to get involved. Let's go to West Metro Fire Rescue District and talk a little bit about that group. And it was a big year, and we're going to ask both of you about this. Tell us about the big anniversary.
Oh, 25th anniversary. So 25 years, Crystal and New Hope have been joining their fire department. We do that because the cities are so intertwined that when there's an emergency in one city, it's just like it's in both the cities. So that's why our community is together on that 25th anniversary.
And Reese, it was really a chance to look back, look at today, and also look forward. They've got a lot going on in the fire department, don't they?
They do. It was an event that buoyed my spirits around emergency services in New Hope and Crystal. The New Hope citizens and the Crystal citizens are best served by this joint endeavor of the two cities through the West Metro Fire Department, and their 25th anniversary was a marquee event highlighting their abilities, their willingness to connect with the community, and getting to hear the good of that department from, as you mentioned, the folks that have been around for a long time, the newcomers, and those that are our future firefighters.
To fight fires and to help the community, it takes a lot of equipment. Let's talk for a second about the equipment that's needed, Mayor. What have they done? And there was some new equipment this past year.
We bought 4 new fire engines, and we bought them on sort of a time plan, so they wouldn't all come at the same time. We actually sold the other ones too. One of them got sold to Mexico from Coca-Cola. And they put Coca-Cola all over the fire engine. So we did sell the old ones. They were in really good shape, but it was time. When you want your fire engine to work, you want it to work. And so we bought these 4 new ones, and they're fully equipped.
And the unique color of the fire trucks. Tell me a little bit about that. And I know people like to know that there's lots of lights on it, so it can show up at any time of the day, right?
Well, our tower is black. And when they first brought that, I thought, well, how in the world are you going to see that at night? Oh my goodness, it's lit up really, really well. The fact that it's black makes it really distinctive, and the new fire engines are too. So they're distinctive, and I'm changing my mind whether or not I like black instead of red.
All right. We've talked a lot about funding for things in the city and some help from partners. A SAFER grant, Reese, tell us a little bit about what that was and how that helps with recruitment and firefighter efforts.
Yeah, thank you, Dave. As you mentioned earlier, there's acronyms everywhere you look in local government. So SAFER is a program from the Federal Emergency Management Agency, or FEMA, that provides funding for staffing and adequate fire and emergency responses. That's where they get the SAFER from. The department was awarded that grant, and under those that award for 3 years, they'll receive funding for 3 new positions. What the department is specifically going to do with those positions is daytime staff a second fire station, the northernmost fire station in Crystal, and have it open for response every day. Previously, they only did that daytime responding out of the fire station in New Hope. So this is definitely an expansion of service for West Metro Fire Department.
Other note is promotions of firefighters. We had some people moving up.
11 apprentice firefighters were promoted to the rank of firefighter recently in December, and there are more in the pipeline.
That is fantastic to hear. All right, other ways they engage with the community. They have some fun out there as well. They have fun with Santa and being Santa to a senior. How does this work, Mayor?
Well, they put up, the fire department put up a Christmas tree with ornaments on it, a paper, and you could take one of the ornaments, and what they did is they went to the nursing homes, Northridge and Good Sam, Ambassador, and had the residents fill out in the ornament what they would like. Hang them on the tree. People came in, took the ornaments off the tree, went and bought the presents, put them in a bag, brought them back to the fire department, and then the fire department delivered them to these nursing homes, bringing a lot of Christmas joy.
Yeah, what a great way to give back to the community. Final note, let's look ahead, Reese, for a second as far as recruitment of firefighters and what you're looking for this coming year.
Yeah, this year West Metro will start their recruitment process or cycle, and they'll be looking for 10 paid-on-call firefighters. That is a variable number. It could be a little bit more depending on how their staffing works out between now and the time that they finalize recruitment. But it will begin in June and end with an informational barbecue at National Night Out in August.
All right, busy year for police and also for West Metro Fire Rescue District. Again, more information about ways to get involved and how they're out in the community at the city's website, newhopemn.gov. Final note, as we look back at the last year in the state of the city for the city of New Hope, is ways to get involved. You mentioned a little bit of it a minute ago, Mayor. Let's talk a little bit about getting involved through voting. It is a busy year for elections, correct?
It is, it is. So we just had the presidential nominating primary. That was on the 5th of March. So the next election will be August 13th. That'll be the primary. And then November 5th will be the general election. So as always, you can go to City Hall ahead of time and vote absentee, but the day of voting, you have to go to your voting place. And you can go online to find your voting place. You should be getting a postcard in the mail to tell you when to go to vote, but it's really important to vote. This year we're going to have 2 council seats up for election and a mayor's seat. So you could also vote in local elections and in the national election.
Something that is neat coming up for the city, and it's really a first of a kind that I've heard of, is something called the City Academy. Kathy, first the idea. Tell us a little bit about the idea of this, and then Reese will talk more about the nuts and bolts. Why did this idea come to be?
Well, it's really important for people to understand how city government works. And this is a good way for people to join this academy. We have a police academy now, so you get to learn how the police department works, but this is a way to get to know how the city works. And so you can join this academy. It's free, and what you'll do is you'll get, each week you'll get one separate department, learn how they work, get a view of what they do, and just walk through. It's really going to be exciting.
And how does this work? How can people get involved, and what's the timing?
It's so imperative for me, Dave, to have educated and involved citizens caring about their government and connecting with the people that work day in and day out to provide the services of the city. We do feel like, as the mayor mentioned, this is taking it up a notch. We expect this to be a multi-week hands-on course. We're kind of nailing on honing in on about 6 weeks, and we expect it to be rolled out sometime later this spring. So we ask that the citizens take a watchful eye on our website, and as soon as we start pushing out the promotions to sign up, to please do so. We'll be creating a cohort of people that ideally, when they're done learning about the city of New Hope, will be well aware of all the opportunities they have to participate in the administration of their city.
All right, they might want to step into some commissions. Mayor, you mentioned them just a minute ago. How about a list of the commissions? What are some of the commissions that are maybe needing people, or popular ones that really give a lot of input to the city?
So these are volunteers. So we have a Human Rights Commission, we have a Planning Commission, and we have a Citizens Advisory Commission. All of those meet on a monthly basis. If you join a commission, it's free to join, and obviously it's volunteer, so there's no pay. You can get the application online, or you can go into City Hall and apply, and just get on a commission and you'll learn how the city works.
Be a part of what is going on in the city. All right, we've mentioned staying involved is a key factor, and the city does a lot to make that happen. Reese, take us through some of the ways that people can stay involved, stay connected to the city.
We like to call it In Touch, and that's the name of the newsletter that we publish and send out to all residents and businesses 6 times a year now. That was a new change last year. And this newsletter covers information about city projects, businesses, activities, and seasonal reminders. I dare say if you read In Touch, you might not have to check in on the state of the city conversation because you'll already know everything. Apart from the newsletter, New Hope Parks and Recreation brochure offers activities, programming, and events for people of all ages. That's coming out very shortly for the summer term. This brochure comes out 3 times a year. It's based on the seasons and includes winter, spring, summer, and fall. We also have 3 active Facebook pages that can allow you to get the latest news and updates. We have the City of New Hope Facebook page, the New Hope Parks and Recreation Department Facebook page, and of course the Police Department Facebook page. I was just yesterday briefed on the reach of our Facebook pages, and it is phenomenal. It's in the tens of thousands of people that consume messages and information from New Hope based on our Facebook work.
Very good.
And finally, there's an active next door community. I know a lot of people like to get in there and get their information and hear what their neighbors are thinking, and oftentimes share a little bit of opinion about what's going on in New Hope.
All right, a lot of information, a lot of ways to stay connected. Make sure you look those up through the city's website or Facebook page. We are about at the end of our State of the City update. Mayor, a few final words for us.
Well, our city staff, the city council and I, and our residents are all dedicated to serving the city. I'd like to express my gratitude to my council. That would be Andy Hoff, John Elder, Jonathan London, and Michael Eisenberg. These guys have been very, very dedicated. We're easy to get along with. A lot of times when you watch the meetings, it looks like we're just nodding our heads, but we're not. There's a work session that happens before that, and a lot of the work gets done there. We compromise on a lot of things to make sure that it's the right thing that's happening for our citizens. I did express my appreciation to the police department and the fire department. Without them, we'd be in really big trouble. They're really, really good. Finally, I want to thank the New Hope community. They have been good about listening to what's happening. They don't always like what's happening, but they listen and they know it's for the best of the community. And just one last thing, I am not going to be running again. I've been mayor for 16 years. It's time to step back. So I will not be in the 2024 election, but I will serve until the end of this year.
Well, thank you for your service to the city for those many years, and thank you for bringing us all this information. You as well, Reese. We've appreciated it, and hopefully you have enjoyed the new look at the state of the city for the city of New Hope. We'll let them get back to work in the city, and we're going to leave you with the website, newhopemn.gov. Again, a great place to find out things that are going on and really stay in touch with the city on a regular basis. Thanks for joining us.